How we doing, everybody? UFC Thoughts here, and today I thought I'd make a little bit of a commentary video, tier list type video, trying to rank what I believe is the future for upcoming talent in the UFC. Some of these guys are already pretty far into their UFC careers. Some of these dudes are quite early, and I think one or two of these guys hasn't even really made their debut yet. But I thought, I'd go through and kind of rank these guys based on how I believe they will do in their UFC career, either soon or long term, kind of just that whole thing. To show the diversity, the first three guys I do will be at totally different points in their career. Let's start with Nasruddin Imavov. Nasruddin Imavov is right now ranked is he number one or number two? I think he's number one. I think Nasruddin will fight for a title at some point in his career. I think Nasruddin actually has a really good chance of even becoming a champion by the time everything is said and done. If Khamzat and him do fight, I think Khamzat probably would win that, but I think it could more or less be a thing of Khamzat maybe even moving up to 205 and testing that out for himself and then leaving the middleweight division open. I think Nasruddin is a really good fighter. He's one of the best strikers at middleweight. He's very fast, very potent, very skillful, the speed is really what sets everybody off about him. But I also think that his wrestling and grappling is very underrated. Some people see Cannonier kind of shucking him off in certain points and kind of think he's a little weak bitch, and they see him mentally as weak, but I think Nasruddin's really coming into his own, coming off a really brutal KO over Israel Adesanya. And then, of course, he's fighting Caio Borralho, who isn't going to be featured in this video, by the way. But in Paris, I think that'll be a really good fight for him. But, yeah. Let's move to a fighter who's at a very different point in his career, Esteban Ribovic. Esteban's been in the UFC for 3 years now, I believe. I think he made his I know he made his debut on a pay-per-view against Loic Radzhabov. I think Esteban will eventually become a ranked staple. Eventually he will. Still very young, Esteban Ribovic. I don't know exactly how old he is. I think he's one of those dudes who's like 28, I think. Esteban's lost 2 fights in the UFC in his career. I believe outside of that, is he 3-2 in the UFC? Kamwela Kirk, Terrence McKinney. Is he 3-2 or 4-2? He's one of those. I think he's 3-2. He just recently lost to Nasrat Haqparast, which was a very close fight. I can understand giving it to Nasrat, even though I'm a huge Esteban Ribovic fan. I can understand giving that fight to Nasrat. Esteban's already getting back in there, though. So, who really won the fight? And Nasrat probably won, but he's fighting Elvis Brenner, I believe, at this most upcoming Apex event, UFC Vegas 108, Albazi Tyra. I think Esteban beats Elvis Brenner. I think eventually Esteban Ribovic will finally break into that top 15. And once he's in there, I don't think he's going to get booted out for a while. I think Esteban Ribovic he's got an older style. He's got that Gaethje Poirier type style where he's such a big brawler, but he's also improving very rapidly. And he's got he's very durable as well. He's one of those blockhead motherfuckers, but he's actually got good boxing. You know what I mean? I think Esteban eventually will become a ranked staple long term. I think it'll be one of those things where a graphic comes up and it's like Esteban Ribovic was ranked in the top 15 for like 6 years, 7 years. I think it'll be one of those things where he eventually will become a ranked staple. He's either here or he's here. It's one of those two. He could become a top contender soon. I think Esteban Ribovic eventually could get here, but from what I've seen so far and what I rate him, I don't know how well he would do against like an Arman. I don't know how well he would do even against a Gamrot. You know what I mean? We haven't seen him against that level of comp yet. He just lost to Nasrat, but I think eventually we will see that sort of thing for Esteban Ribovic. We move to Ju Sang Yu, coming off his debut. So we got a number one ranked contender, a guy who's been in the UFC for a couple years, and then a guy coming off his debut. That's what this whole video is going to be all over the place. Ju Sang Yu. He could be one of these because he's old. He's 31, and he just made his debut. That's my thing with Ju Sang Yu is, like, he's an older guy, but he's not that, like, superpower. I think he could become an on and off rankings. He could become like a Drew Dober, somewhat of like featherweight or something, like Holland maxing is what I've called it in this video. I think that Ju Sang Yu he could become ranked. We don't know how well he does against grappling, like UFC level grappling. Like, I don't know how well he would do. Who's a good featherweight kind of like litmus test? Who's like a... Oh, Jose Miguel Delgado would have been good for this video. I totally forgot about him. Ju Sang Yu. Where would he go? I think he's not a fraud. I think if Ju Sang Yu loses, it'll be to a guy where it's like, well, that guy's pretty good. You know what I mean? Like, I think it'll be one of those things where it's like, well, it's like a Peyton Talbot, Hayoni Barcelos loss, in a way, where it's like, he lost to fucking Hayoni, he was a huge favorite. Yeah, but Hayoni's actually, like, really good. You know what I mean? It'll be one of those things where it's like, he lost to a older vet, who just knows how to win fights and is able to out-grapple him, out-scramble him, beat him to the shots, you know what I mean? Just one of those things. I think Ju Sang Yu will eventually become a ranked fighter. I don't know if he does like an Esteban where he stays there for a while, because I don't know how durable he is. I don't know how well his grappling is. I know he's undefeated, but, you know, his debut was against fucking Jekka Sergi, so, you know, he's not that good. But he did put him out, but I don't know. We move to Jailton Almeida. Jailton will fight for a title just because he's at heavyweight. That's about it. Jailton's a really good wrestler. He will fight for a title just because he's a heavyweight and the division is so shallow. If he beats Volkov, he probably will fight for the title in the next two defenses of Tom Aspinall. Now, does he beat Tom Aspinall? I don't know. I don't think so, honestly. I think Jailton's pretty chinny. He got knocked out by Curtis Blades with a fucking shovel uppercut and then follow-up. He kind of quit. I don't know. I don't know if his wrestling is good enough to topple over Tom Aspinall and then submit him or get to a dominant position, because Tom Aspinall is good. He will fight for a title, though. That is something that is in Jailton's future. He will fight for a belt. We move to Lone Kavanaugh. I think Lone Kavanaugh is going to be one of these flyweight staples that we're going to have for a while. He's a super young contender. I think he will be one of those dudes who is in the rankings for a while. He just gives me those vibes. I don't know, like, I haven't seen enough of him yet. That's the thing with, like, a Lone Kavanaugh. I haven't seen enough to determine whether he will fight for a title or if he'll become a top contender soon. Soon could be, like, it could be like a Dustin Poirier type thing where he's like that. Like, ranked staple, I'm talking about, like, just being ranked for a while. You know what I mean? Like, Wonder Boy was a ranked staple for fucking basically 8, 9, 10 years. You know what I mean? He was ranked for fucking ages. Lone, I think, will become one of these guys, though. He could. Flyweight is pretty... But I think Lone... I don't know how well he does against those top guys, like how he does against a Moreno, how well he does against a Royval, how well he does against... Even like a Temerov, who I'll probably do next. Pause. But Lone is really good for flyweight. It really depends on what he does against Charles Johnson. If he's able to beat Charles Johnson, hold up. If he's able to beat Charles Johnson, I think that'll be a fight. I think that he'll definitely probably become a top contender. But from what I've seen, ranked staple for a while. He beat Jose Ochoa. He beat Felipe Dos Santos. I don't want to jump the gun too early on a Lone Kavanaugh. He could... Nah, but Charles Johnson's on a fraud watch. He's not fraud watch. Waldo Cortez Acosta. What do I do with this fucking guy? it wouldn't be a fraud watch if he loses to Sergey. So I can't even say that. You know, I'm just going to put him in here. I fucking hate Waldo. He will fight for a belt, though. I can't put him in this motherfucker's straight butt. Can't do it. Can't do it. He will fight for a belt at least once. Just because he's a heavyweight. It's exactly the same thing as Jailton. He's top 7 at heavyweight. He'll win one fight, and they'll be like, Tom Aspinall will be like, I'm hungry. And then they'll just throw him Waldo Cortez and goes. I love thinking about Tom Aspinall as like a rancor where he's like in the fucking I'm hungry and they just throw him some blubber of a heavyweight and fucking Waldo Cortez Acosta getting toppled over into a rancor pit. Fuck the salsa boy. Fuck this guy. I want to put him in here so bad because he's not a good fighter. He's such a jab merchant, but I'll throw him. He'll fight for a belt. No, this does not mean he will at least get a title shot. Not because he's good. Just because he's a fucking heavyweight. Fuck you, Waldo. We move to Ramazan Temirov. Here's Ramazan Temirov. Ramazan was supposed to be fighting Esu Almabayev, but Jose Ochoa stepped in because he pulled out. Ramazan, that being he. I think Ramazan will probably be a staple. He could become a... You know, I'll put him in here. I think Ramazan Temirov is actually really solid, you know. I think Ramazan's really good. Really powerful, really short and stout. Being able to beat Charles Johnson with how tall he is, I think he's either as tall as Joshua or shorter than Joshua Van. He actually was just able to beat Joshua Van with, Charles Johnson with grappling and volume in the first 2 rounds, and then he had a rough third, but very powerful, mixes it up, goes to the ground, hits the body, goes to the legs. You know what I mean? I think Ramazan's actually a really solid flyweight contender or prospect to look out for. I know he's ranked, but he's only had 2 fights in the UFC. I think Ramazan's really solid. I think everyone should keep an eye out for him. I think he's really good. We move to Michael Morales. I think Michael will fight for a belt. I don't know if he wins. Michael is a weird one because he is top 10 in his division. Michael, I've said I think Michael Morales is a better contender or prospect than Carlos Pratas in the past. I've said that Michael Morales was originally how I felt about like Carlos, how he's really good. I think Michael will eventually get a title shot. I don't know how soon. I should probably do it to where it's like in the next like year or 2. That's what this means. Maybe Michael will be a top contender only. I mean, it really depends on his matchmaking. If he fights Leon Edwards, then he might just get a title shot off of that. But the way welterweight is, I think Michael's in a long line of people to fight for a belt. I think Michael needs 2 more wins probably to even get looked at for a title. I think if he beats Leon, they're going to be like, oh, well, you're the 3rd guy to do it. Have fun beating Shavkat. You know what I mean? I think it'll be one of those things, and Michael isn't the most active guy on the entire roster. I will say that. You know, he took from August of last year and didn't fight until May. Now, to be fair, that was because the Gilbert Burns fight got pushed back about twice. He was supposed to fight at 314, 315, and then main evented a fight night, but I think Michael, in the next 2 years, I think he'll become a top contender. I think he'll be one of those top 5 dudes in the division where people will be like 27-year-old Michael Morales. You know what I mean? In his career, he'll be a ranked staple. But I think in the next 2 years, he'll be a top contender. He'll be like ranked staple is like 6 through 15 type thing for these guys. Top contender, probably should have put staple on this as well, but these guys are the dudes at main event fight nights. You know what I mean? Like, these are guys that people have in their fucking card builder videos is like, this isn't realistic, but I think these guys are sick. David Onama. I think David's a fraud, even though the next guy he loses to probably won't be considered considered getting fraud checked. I think David Onama's pretty bad at fighting, and the Giga Chikadze performance really pissed me off. He's not that good. He wings wild shots. He's chinny. I think that he lost to Nate Landwehr. Yuck. Yuck, dude. That's so gross, dude. You lose to fucking Nate Landwehr, bro? Ew, dude. I think David Onama will lose. He loses to literally every other ranked fighter in that featherweight division, in my opinion. Like, there's maybe one other guy, and it's Giga Chikadze, because Giga's top 15 again. He'll beat Giga in a rematch, I think. I don't think he doesn't beat Arnold Allen. He doesn't beat Aljo. He doesn't beat Steve Garcia. He doesn't beat John Silva. He doesn't even beat like a Bryce Mitchell. He doesn't beat any of those fucking guys. He doesn't beat anybody. I think David Onama, his skill set is really, it's just not that great, in my opinion. I think David Onama, I think he's a fraud in the waiting. I think we're gonna see him lose relatively soon in his next 2 fights, and then we'll see where he stands in like the actual like business of the rankings. Like, I think he loses to literally everybody above him. I don't see him beating a single soul above him. Like, the only guy maybe, and it's just because I think that he's somewhat washed, is Ortega. But even then, I think Ortega could box the fucking face off of David Onama and out-grapple him. You know what I mean? Like even I think a fucking Pitbull. I think a Pitbull fight would fucking... Pitbull, you're gonna be on and off. I hate Pitbull. He doesn't do anything, man. You know what? Fuck that. Your butt. He doesn't do anything in a fight. He doesn't do shit. He literally won 2 minutes against Dan Ige and won the fucking fight. I don't know if, he had 2 minutes of success in the entire fight and won the fight. He did nothing for the rest of the fucking fight. This guy literally frauded his way to beating Dan Ige. He fraud checked. He outfluked Dan Ige. That doesn't even make any sense. But Patricio, I don't see him staying ranked at all. I think he'll definitely lose his next fight, because Patricio's in a position, he's so old and he's got quote unquote name value. They're gonna put him up against a monster in his net, like fucking Arnold Allen or some shit. They're like, that's what you do with a pit bull at this point if you're the UFC. Just keep feeding him to top contenders. That's literally all you do with Pitbull. I don't care about him versus Cater. I don't care about him versus Steve Garcia. I don't care about any of those matchups. Just literally kick this guy out the UFC. Just literally feed him matchups that make it holy shit, why'd they cut him? He only lost to so-and-so and so-and-so. Yeah, but he's 1-4 in the promotion, so please get out. I don't like Pitbull, if you can't tell. We move to, I wonder if any of you even know who this is before I say this guy's name. Do any of you know who Kevin Christian is? Do any of you guys know? I really wonder if any of you know. This dude is the worst signing I've ever seen in my fucking life. Genuinely the worst signed athlete to the UFC. In a world of CM Punk and shit, he is one of the worst fighters I've ever seen in my life. He got signed on the recent season of Contender Series. He's 33, 6'7", 205er. He literally did nothing the entire fight and then got a sub off his back in the second round. Dana White literally was like, I don't really want to sign you, but Sean Shelby wants me to sign you. Yeah, because he wants to feed this guy to a bunch of top-ranked guys. This dude is straight ass. He's so bad. He's gonna get fucking worked in the UFC. I just thought I'd put him here because I thought it was funny seeing his fucking face. Just Kevin Christian, dude. We move to Grant Dawson. Grant's such a dude. He's been in the UFC for it feels like fucking forever, and he's not ranked. Well, he is ranked. I think Grant will probably be a staple. Because his chin is suspect as fuck, but he is a really good wrestler. I think he beats a lot of people in the lightweight division just because of his wrestling. But if he can't get a takedown, he gets fucking smoked, obviously. That's what Grant Dawson's built for. I think eventually there will be lightweight contenders that come up, and it'll be he'll be the next Drew Dober or the next like Michael Chandler. What Michael Chandler's starting to become, where everyone's like, you lost to Paddy Pimblett, now you're fighting Rufi, now you're fighting Ziam. Like that's like you're only getting like the up and coming guy matchups. I think eventually Grand Dawson will become that. I don't think Grand Dawson can get a title shot. I don't see a world where he beats even like a Gamrot. I don't see a world where he beats like a Joel Alvarez even. I don't see a world where, even though Joel's moving up officially to welterweight, I just don't see a world where he beats like a heavy hitter who can somewhat stuff takedowns. Like there's just no way. So I don't think he'll become a top contender or get a championship fight at all, unless he gets like Khalil Roundtree in, which honestly, like at lightweight, who fucking knows? We move. God damn it. Fucking get off of my screen. There we go. Mario Pinto. Is this the first? No, this is the third heavyweight. Mario. He's got a fight booked. Who's he fighting? Is he fighting Gennady Janice? I think he's fighting Gennady Janice. I think Mario will become a ranked staple eventually. Probably. He'll be a top 15 guy. Just because he's undefeated, he's big as fuck. He's got good boxing combinations. Literally, that's all you need. But dude. Does he beat a Derek Lewis? We saw the same thing with Taliesin Teixeira, dude. Because Mario is like 6'4", 6'5". He's a huge guy. But he got dropped by Austin Lane. Yuck. I think Mario's still pretty solid. We'll see more of him come October. I think that's when his fight is. It's either October or September. I forget. I don't know. He's not fighting on Perf. I don't think he's fighting. When's he fighting? I don't know. But Mario Pinto, I think, has a fight booked. So, yeah. I think he'll become a ring staple eventually. Joshua Van, he'll get a title shot literally next. So, that'll be that. It's literally his next fight. Joshua Van, fucking love you, dude. The model, Islam Dulatov. Next 2 years, no. Take out the off Islam, I think he'll become just ranked within the next, 2 or 3 years. It depends on how active he is. I mean, to be fair, he took a while to get his debut in, even though he got injured in February, I know that, but Islam's dangerous, dude. I think Islam's really fucking good. From what I've seen, he's got really good finishing instincts on the ground, on the feet, everywhere. His debut against Adam Fugit was pretty one-sided, I'd say. I think Islam Dulatov is probably one of those future guys at welterweight that we can look at and go, that dude's legit. In the next couple of years, I think Islam will probably become a ranked fighter. I don't know, the off on here is reserved for some. You know what I mean? These two guys, I think they can just become slightly ranked, maybe. Maybe, and also, on and off, 15 to, 13, or, slightly out. That could also be for Ju Zhengyu or Islam. Paddy Pimblett. Depends on his matchmaking. If he fights Gaethje, he beats Gaethje. I have to just admit that as a fucking hell. That sucks to say, but if he beats Gaethje, he probably gets a title shot. Paddy will probably get a title shot in the next 2 years. Probably they'll give him favorable matchmaking. They'll give him the Gaethje fight. If they give him Arman, he loses. No fucking way he beats Arman. No way. I refuse to believe he beats Arman. Just no shot. But like I said, it all really depends on his matchmaking. This is based off, if he fights Gaethje, this is what we get. If he fights Arman, this is what we get. I think that we're going to get him versus Gaethje. So I think we're going to see him fight for a title very soon. Because I think he beats Gaethje. I think we're going to see that as a co-main event of a pay-per-view, maybe 320, 321, something like that. Like I said, at 320, my card builder, I think I had him as a featured fight. Some dude in the comment was like, that'll probably be the co-main event of any pay-per-view it's on. I'm like, yeah, you're right, because they're going to make that 5 rounds. So, yeah, he beats Gaethje. In a fucked up way, he beats Gaethje. But Arman, no way he beats Arman. But they're going to give him Gaethje. So, Azamat Murzakanov. 205er. He's fighting Rakic next, which is really interesting. That's at 3. Is that 320 or 321? I think it's 321, but I had it on my 320 card builder, by the way. Just letting you guys know. Rakic is still like 6. He's such a density. That's going to be such a hard fight because he's so much shorter than Rakic. Like, Rakic is the build that you need to beat Murzakanov, but his chin, man. Fuck. I'll get a top contender. I think he'll become a top contender soon. I think he probably beats Rakic. Probably. Maybe. Fuck, does he beat Rakic? I don't know. That's a weird one to think so far out. Rakic has just looked so... The Yuri performance was so good, and then he just died. I'll keep him. Azamat's really crisp boxing. Powerful as shit. He's pretty durable as well. Yeah, fuck it. I'll keep him there. Ooh! My boy! Vinicius Lockdog Oliveira. My fucking boy. My boy. He's going to become a ranked staple, for sure, in the next 2 years. Actually, yeah, I'll keep him there. Vinicius is my boy. That's my dog from fucking way back, brother. I don't think he beats like a Jan. I gotta stay level-headed. I think Vinicius beats basically every unranked bantamweight on the roster. The top 5, like, Umar is a tricky fight, my friend, especially with your style. But I think Vinicius beats a lot of ranked fighters as well, just because I think his pressure does really add up. And also I think he's a bitch to deal with. Like, if you don't hit hard enough, you're not beating Vinicius. Like, Amin Zahabi would get steamrolled by Vinicius Oliveira, in my opinion, just because he doesn't hit hard. And Vinicius would force him into a fight that he doesn't want to fight. So, that's the thing about Vinicius. He forces people into firefights, and not a lot of people want to be in a firefight. Like, unironically enough, not a lot of people want that. I think Vinicius will become a ranked staple, though, for a while. It just depends, because he's been calling out Umar since he beat fucking Sopai, so they might just give him Umar. And maybe Vinicius flukes it. Who fucking knows? Not flukes it, because Vinicius would dominate. No. I don't know, man. Vinicius is a wild one. We move to Rafael Esteban. Who's he fighting? He's got a fight booked. I know that for sure. He fights soon. I think he's fighting soon. I think Rafael's on Fraud Watch. Eventually someone's going to beat him. Eventually someone has to. In the next 2 years, someone's going to beat him. For sure. It could be his next fight. Who knows? I remember I put this dude in that video of people who I believe are frauds, that Bo Nickel video, which, you know, most of my takes from that video actually aged pretty well, I think. Like, funny enough, I think most of them actually aged pretty well. I was taking a swig of water. But Rafael, I don't know, man. His gas tank is just so shite to me. And that performance, who did he just fight? It was, what's the Mexican? Jesus Aguilar, that's who it was. He, like, if Jesus just had better takedown defense, he probably beats Rafael Esteban. Like, Rafael's striking's pretty shit. I think he's on Fraud Watch. I think Rafael he's undefeated as well, so everyone thinks he's, like, super, super good. I don't think so. We move to Lerone Murphy. Lerone Murphy, bruv. Fantalite, bruv. Been watching a lot of Sidemen recently. Fantalite, bruv. I think Lerone will probably be a rank. I don't think he beats any of the top 5 guys, so he doesn't become a top contender. He's just going to be one of those dudes in the top 15 for a while. Just because he's technical and good enough to beat a lot of unranked guys and a lot of the lower ranked guys. We know that now, especially after the Emmett performance. But does he beat Allen? You know what I mean? Does he beat Ortega? Does he beat Silva? Does he beat Aljo even? Like, no. I don't think he beats a lot of those guys. I think he beats maybe one or two of them. Maybe. It's just with the tops of the division, does Lerone Murphy step up? I don't think so. He had to grit down really hard against Barboza and Dan Ige. Alright, dude. Let's fucking... Don't give you Diego Lopez. Alright? We're just going to say that. Because I think he is also chinny. I think he is. Great story. Not talked about enough. But, yeah, I don't know if Lerone stands the test of time in that time. Yeah. Fuck Gabriel Bonfim. No, I'll put him here. I'll put him at Fraud Watch. I'll put him... It won't be a fraud check if he loses. Like, this is like... But I have Onama there. But I think Onama loses to, like, a lot of unranked guys, too. Low-key Timmy Kwamba gives... Low-key Timmy Kwamba gives David Onama problems, dude. I'll go here. I think he'll just, like... I think Gabriel will lose. Like, I think he loses to, like, Randy Brown. I think Randy Brown would give Gabriel Bonfim a lot of trouble. Like, I just think that's how that works. I think Andreas Gustafsson would give Gabriel Bonfim a shit ton of problems. I think, like, a Jacoby Smith, even. I think a Jacoby Smith would give Gabriel Bonfim a lot of problems. Like, I think a lot of those dudes in that top 15 of welterweight and some of the unranked guys as well give Gabriel Bonfim a shit ton of problems in that division. Does D-Rod give... No, I can't believe D-Rod's fucking ranked. But yeah, I think we're going to keep him there. Jacoby Smith, man! I think Jacoby will become ranked eventually in 2 years. It just depends on how active he is. You know, January, June, doesn't take a lot of damage. They're still giving him those... You know, kind of runt of the litter kind of guys. Preston Parsons, Nico Price. I think they're going to continue doing that for his next 2 fights at least. Maybe a little jump up in the third or fourth fight. Maybe. But I think at the end of the day, I think Jacoby Smith in the next 2 or 3 years will just become ranked. I don't think, like, he's got a lot of time to work with. You know, Jacoby Smith is 29, I believe. 29? Is he 30? Is Jacoby Smith 30? Because if so, that kind of sucks, but... I think Jacoby's 29, 28. I think we got some years to work with for Jacoby Smith. I don't think he becomes a top contender soon. I don't think they're going to push him like that. He has the ability to do that, I believe, but I just want to see him against those. I just want to see him get slightly ranked. John will get a title shot soon. Soon for sure. Hold up. I want to see something. No, that doesn't happen. All right. Just want to make sure the view window doesn't get fucked up. John... What can I say? He trick shots people. I think John Silva, he beats Diego Lopez, in my opinion. I think he's going to win that fight. After that fight, he's going to get a title shot. It just depends on if he fights before Movsar or not. Or, fuck it, maybe Aaron Pico defies all odds and beats Movsar Evloev somehow. Because he actually does have kind of a style to do it. But, I don't know. I don't know. We're going to have to find out Saturday night. No, not Saturday night. Movsar and Aaron is off that card. But John Silva, he gets a title shot in the next 2 years for sure. He will, eventually at least, he will get a title. I'm basing most of this off the next 2 years, what I believe will happen. But, like, overall, if John Silva doesn't get a title shot by the end of his career, it's a failure, honestly, in my opinion. Like, there's no way he shouldn't get a title shot. Azamat Bekaev. I think Azamat will become ranked. Eventually, he's fighting Yusuri Belgary in 2 weeks, or next weekend, actually, because his fight with Terez Finney got canceled. Sadly, Terez Finney pulled out. You fucking bitch. I think Azamat beats Yusuri Belgary. And if, like, Azamat stays active, you know, January, May, July, or August, rather, he might get a ranked shot soon. Like, Azamat's getting close. I don't know how much the Yusuri Belgary win will help his case to getting to the higher ends of the unranked, lower ends of the ranked. But Azamat's getting close. I think Azamat has all the skills to become a ranked fighter. He's really good. Very good fighter. He's going to curb stomp Yusuri Belgari when they fight. Very solid wrestler, really powerful on the feet as well. Just really solid guy. I can't believe I picked Zach Reese to beat him. David Martinez. I'm sorry to tell you guys this. David Martinez is going to lose to Su Young Yu. I said it. He's going to get fraud checked by the best bantamweight. The best bantamweight prospect, Su Young Yu, dude. Su Young Yu's going to take this guy down a bunch. No, I think David Martinez will lose in his next 2 fights. He had a really dynamic performance against Simon Oliveira. It's Simon Oliveira. The guy he fought on the Contender Series wasn't that great either. Su Young Yu, I think, has just... He's fought twice in the UFC already. Technically, the road to UFC, I count that. And his performance against AJ Cunningham was really solid. He fucked him up for 3 rounds. So, David Martinez, shorter guy. I just think that Su Young Yu is it's gonna be a guy where he fights on his level. Su Young Yu's striking's underrated. I think David Martinez is a really good fighter. He's gonna get fraud checked. He will. He's on fraud watch. I'm calling it. Just wait for this shit to happen. Wait. This video is gonna age like wine. Just you fucking guys wait. I don't know if I should even put Renier in this video to give away my pick. You know what? RDR is going to stay off. RDR is going to stay off. You know what I mean? Ateba Gautier. Like, how does Ateba do against, like, Joe Pyfer? You know what I mean? It's one of these ones. I think he'll get to the higher end of the unranked. I think that's what will happen for Ateba. I think he will... It just depends on how much he fights. Like, eventually he will become this, but in the next 2-3 years, I don't know how far Ateba gets. He's a lot of physicality, decent boxing, really good combinations, but I'm worried about the grappling, for sure. I'm really worried on what he does, especially at middleweight, because there's a lot of strong grapplers there. Like, even in like, Jack Hermanson is a good grappler. Vettori, good grappler. You know what I mean? Like, Andre Petrosky. Nah. Like, I don't know. We're just going to have to find out. I think Ateba will probably become slightly... He'll just slightly get there. Just slightly. Fares Ziam. I think Fares Ziam will become ranked very soon. Fares has a tough fight coming up against Kawhi Fernandez. I will say that. I think that's a really tough matchup. I'm not sure on who I'm picking in that fight, by the way. That's actually a really close fight. I think if Fares Ziam wins that, though, I think he will become ranked. I think he will become a ranked fighter and then just stay there for the rest of the, I think Fares Ziam has a lot of skills. He's got a really good skill set. He's improving from fight to fight. He's looked really good his last couple showings. He beat Mike Davis pretty easily, honestly. I think Fares Ziam is actually really good. Excuse me, Rufi. I think Rufi probably loses soon. In a weird way, I think, nah. It really just depends on his matchmaking. That's not a fraud check, though. I'll go on and off no, he has to become... Like, if they gave him Chandler, right? Like, if they do John Silver, they gave him number 12, and then they boost him up to, like, 10 or 9. You know what I mean? Maybe. Maybe he's here. Maybe. I don't know. Rufi, I had him at the top of my contenders list just because, he's probably the most, like, popular guy. And it was an easy thumbnail. But I don't know about Rufi, I think he's really good. But to be fair, we've only seen him against 3 people in the UFC. And he did struggle with James Yontop. I know that James Yontop missed weight by, like, 18 pounds. But I don't know. I'll keep him here. Fuck it. Tagir Ulanbekov, you're losing soon, buddy. You're losing soon. I don't give a shit. I hope you lose. I'm not a huge fan of Tagir. He's so ugly, isn't he? He's such an ugly fuck. He could have lost to fucking Azamat soon. I think Tagir's probably going to get booted out of the ranking soon. I think he's good. He's so old as well. I just think that he's fucking... I think he's chop chin. We move to Alexandre Topuria. I don't think Alexandre is really that great, if I'm being honest with you. I think his style is super low output, and at a division like bantamweight, I don't know how well that's going to work. In my opinion. I don't know how well that works for him. You know what I mean? And I don't know how durable he is. We saw him fight Colby Thickness, or Thicknessy. It's Thickness, right? I think it's Thickness. I forgot how to pronounce his name. Fuck. It's one of my favorite last names in UFC history. I don't know. I don't know what it is about Alexandre Topuria. I just think that he's going to continue on the tradition of just being super shit. Where it's like the famous older brother and then like the somewhat shittier like brother of him. I don't know why. I just get this really weird feeling that this dude's not that good. Like, I don't know what it is about him. He just, like, gives me those vibes. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know about Alexandre, man. Alexandre gives me weird vibes, dude. I don't know. He looks really talented. But how talented is he going to look against the tops of the division? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't know, man. Muktabek Orobai will become he'll become slightly ranked or just outside. Same with Talbot. These two guys, like, they remind me very much of each other. I think they'll become either just outside the rankings or slightly ranked. Maybe. Peyton Talbot, probably not. Next 2-3 years, yeah, probably. Peyton might lose, though, you know. I think Peyton Talbot's got a really, like, he's on. People talk about Vinicius having his hands low. Peyton doesn't move his fucking head. I'll keep him here. I like Peyton Talbot. I think he beats almost 90% of the unranked division, though, for sure. I think he beats a lot of those unranked guys. It's the rankings that really give me the heebie-jeebies. Like, I don't know how well he does. I don't know how well Peyton Talbot would do against a fucking Jonathan Martinez. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how well he does against those type of guys. Muktabek, we've seen him against Rombetsky. He's still almost won with a broken orbital. His, like, face was shattered, and he still almost won in the third round. I think Muktabek's really fucking tough, and the Tawfiq Messiah performance was really fucking good. Last but not least, Malcolm Wellmaker. I'll put him here. I'll put him on and off. I think he's like one of those guys that I think will just be slightly outside. Just depends on the match. He's old, though. You know, I'm just going to say this. I think Malcolm loses soon. Like, it's so, like, I really like his fight style, but I think they're gonna feed him too big of a fighter soon. Like, in his next two fights. Like, in his next two fights, they're gonna give him fucking someone nuts. Like, it's going to be like, why the fuck is that the matchup? You know, like, he's going to come off beating fucking Ronnie Yaha, and then they're going to fucking give him, like, fucking Henry Cejudo or some shit, and you're going to be like, well, that doesn't really correlate. And then you're like, what the fuck? And then he loses, and we're like, well, what the hell? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I get weird vibes, especially, like, same with, like, Ju Sang Yu, like, these older guys who are undefeated. Like, they're not old, but 31 as a prospect, only have 1 or 2 fights in the UFC, kind of it sucks. Because it's like, well, I don't know. Like, I don't know what to do with you anymore. But, yeah, that's the list. Do you guys agree with my list? There's a couple guys that are on the bottom, but I just don't feel like ranking them. Like, there's, like, this list had a lot. Like, this list had fucking Ilya on it. Like, what? What are you talking about? No. Oh, let me anger Lucas Tracy real quick. All right, but I wanted to get some content out for you guys. I like making this video. It was fun. I was going to make a GOAT list video. I feel like I'm a bit late to the party, though. If you guys want to see a GOAT list video, leave it down in the comments below. Yeah, if you like the video, give it a like. If you want to see more content like this, subscribe. Leave a comment down below what you guys think of my list, what you guys want to see next. This weekend, of course, UFC Abu Dhabi, Whitaker versus DeRitter, which is why I kept DeRitter off the list. Yeah, I'll be covering that either tomorrow or on Thursday. I will see you guys in my next video. Peace.